I just had the most exciting thing happen. A little while back, I mentioned that I have the opportunity to design my own set of watercolor Craftimo brushes, and my sample set just arrived. I haven't even tested them out yet. They may need a little bit of tweaking before I'm ready to launch them, but I have designed 5 specific brushes for this set. I want to keep some of them a surprise, so I'm not actually going to show all 5 of the brushes yet today, but here are 2 of them from the set. I just think they turned out so beautiful. I've designed them with a gunmetal ferrule, a white handle, and a gradient of black to light gray bristles. Like I said, I haven't actually tested these out quite yet, but when I do, I will make sure they have good pointy tips, a great snap to them, and that they work perfectly for watercolor painting. I am so excited to continue making these perfect. After I get the brushes exactly right, then I will move on to designing and painting the box for them, so I will definitely keep you in on the loop. Anyway, I was just so excited I had to give you a quick sneak peek before we moved on to our painting project today. Now, you probably don't know this, but I usually have ideas and a plan of what I'm going to paint on a month-to-month basis and actually a month in advance. So I actually had something totally different planned for today's painting, but for some reason, I just wasn't in the mood to paint that particular piece. All of a sudden, I had a change in plans and just wanted to paint something purely for the fun of it. And this is what came to mind. So for my birthday a few months back, my husband got me this mini, and I mean mini, portable watercolor palette. I had never seen such a thing before. It is so cool. He also got me these adorable mini watercolor books to go with it as well. So today, as I sat here, not in the mood to paint what I had planned painting, playing with this is what sounded fun. And for me, painting really should be all about the fun, whether it turns out to be a masterpiece or not. The goal in my mind is to have fun. So let's find out together if painting mini is worth it or not. I've had to pull out some of my mini Artegria paintbrushes. I don't use them often. In fact, most of them are still in the packages, but today they were definitely needed. Because this is my first time ever trying something like this, I do need to pick some colors to put in here. I've already got some Quinacridone Rose and Dioxazine Purple, but now I'll add some Gamboge, Cadmium Yellow Light, Sap Green, Ultramarine Blue, some Burnt Umber, and Ivory Black. Kind of a little bit of everything, and some of the colors that I use the most often. Now, this little set is so super cute. I don't know if you saw it very well, but it has magnets here in the corners so that it sticks together when you close it. But it also has magnets on one side of it so that it will stick together when it's open as well. Then you can use a clip if you want to secure it even better, or even clip it right to the little booklet or paper that you're painting on, which makes it perfect for traveling. I mean, I could literally stick this in my pocket and take it anywhere. It is that small. I'll just use the clip to hold my booklet open today since I do have a table and am not traveling right now though. In fact, since we're talking about this as a potential travel kit, you could also take along one of these water brushes that holds water right inside the handle of the brush that you can squeeze out through the bristles. So you don't even have to take along a cup of water. Super cool. In fact, I enjoy going on bike rides up the mountain road that I live nearby, and this would be so easy to pack along with me and pull right out if I ever get the urge to stop and paint while I'm on the go. I'll leave a link for these products in the description of this video if you're interested in looking into any of them further. Okay, let's try something different today and paint something mini. I'm totally winging it here. I don't have a plan, we're just playing around. Now, whether or not you have mini stuff, you can still follow along on normal paper. You can even make this into present tags or card sizes if you'd like. So let's pull out some pink and green here first and give some tiny hollyhock flowers a try. I'll start by making some asymmetrical sort of circular blobs of color, nothing too complicated here. We're going to go from small to large shapes moving downward. These will be the little flowers along the stalk. Now, why not add a dot of brown or black in the center of these open, larger flowers here just to make them look more realistic? Pretty simple so far. Let's add in some greenery now, starting with some tiny leaf shapes at the top, gradually making them larger as we move down, painting them on either side of the flowers to fill in any of the gaps. Then when we get to the bottom, I'll just make some larger, loose spots of green color for the base of the plant. You might be wondering, why even bother painting small like this? I know you might be thinking that because I did. But, I'll talk about some of the perks along the way as we go. One good thing about painting small is that you don't have to focus on all of the little details. It's cute, it's fun, it's simple, it gets the idea across of what you're painting without it being too complicated or detailed. But of course, you are free to add in all the details that you want, but it's not exactly necessary. This is really very cute. I like how that turned out. I may eventually add a third stalk to this later to help center it a little better on the page, but for now, let's move on to the next idea. Let's try out some little daffodils this time. I have a few daffodils finally popping up in my yard after a very long winter, and I just love the happy, bright color of them. So I'll use this cadmium yellow light and paint 5 little petals first. For the second flower I paint, I may try to make it more of a side-facing flower, so my petals aren't all the exact same or evenly shaped all the way around. Then I'll use some Gamboge, which is a darker yellow, to paint in the centers of the flowers, and maybe I'll add a touch of this color onto the edges or tips of some of the petals just to add a little bit more depth. I'm finding that this is a great way to practice colors and compositions that I could use in larger paintings later. This is a great way to quickly practice or jot down an idea without it being too intense. Then to finish the flowers off, we'll add in some stems and leaves. And you can call this done and move on, but I actually feel like I need to add a few more to this one to sort of finish it off better. If you're enjoying these mini paintings or are finding any of the tips or techniques helpful today, I hope you'll subscribe so you don't miss out on any new and upcoming weekly tutorials. All right, very fun. Let's try another one. Now we haven't used blue yet, so let's give that a try here. In fact, I'm going to pull out one of my smallest angle brushes and play with some of the simplest flowers that I know how to make. After I've got the color on my brush, I hold the brush so that it feels and looks like it's actually upside down, with the pointiest part of the brush at the center of the flower and petal. Then I just press down and pull out on the brush to make a perfect petal or leaf shape. I have some more very detailed tutorials on how to use an angle brush. If you're interested in learning more about how to use it, I can list those in the description of this video. Now, I find it easiest with this technique to turn the watercolor paper to continue making each stroke rather than moving my arm around in different positions. I'll add 5 petals here, and now I have a lovely but very simple flower. I'll just keep adding in more to create a full little spray of flowers using a variety of values. When you feel you have enough flowers, you can add in some green leaves using that exact same technique. I'll quickly switch my brushes and take some more concentrated and darker blue to add a dot of color to each center of the flowers. And what the heck, let's add some around the outer edges of the composition here as well. Okay, moving on once again, let's try out some pretty little purple flowers. This time I'll paint the green stalks or stems first, and then add some of the purple flowers, working from small to large, alternating back and forth from each side of the stalk. Now, I think I'll try to do about 10 different mini paintings just to give you some ideas of what you can try out, but please feel free to skip to the ones that look the most fun for you to do. I'm actually finding that this is a great way to get some of my artistic needs out and still be able to paint without having to paint something that's big and time consuming. This is a terrific way to still be able to paint something even if you don't have a lot of time to spare. Now that I've got the purple flowers on here, I'll fill in some of the gaps in between with some small grassy lines. That was a fun one. Again, you could easily add more stalks to that to fill the page out a little bit more, but let's go ahead and move on. Let's come back to some light yellow flowers again. This time I'll try out some 5-petaled side-facing flowers. I'll paint maybe 4 or 5 of these and then add in a few small buds as well. That looks pretty good so far. So now let's go ahead and add in some thin green stem lines and some leaves here and there, and let's try out a different shape of leaf this time. For the finishing touch, let's take some gamboge and paint in the flower centers. Let's take a quick look at what we've got here so far. I'm really having a lot of fun here. Now, the question of the day is this kind of painting worth trying? Now, I think I could say yes. I am totally just relaxed and enjoying the process. Definitely fun to give a try. And I'm telling you, these designs could really make some quick and simple little cards or tags, and they only take a few minutes to do. This time I think I'm going to try a little loose rose in the center of the page here, starting with a darker pink value in the center, then broadening and lightening the strokes as we move outward. I think I'll come back in here and enhance some of these darker colors in the center of the flower just a little bit more. Now let's add in some leaves here. I'm actually going to switch over to this little angle brush again after I've got the thin lines painted. And then I'll add in some little leaves off to each side using the same technique that I showed you when we painted the blue flowers. This is an okay start, but I kind of feel like it needs more. So let's try adding in some little rosebuds off to the sides. That's a little bit better. I think I'll actually try adding in a few larger leaves too. Well, that one's probably not my favorite that I've done so far. I might have to attempt that one again in a slightly different way another day. For this next one, let's mix up some of these colors a little bit. I haven't mixed anything yet, but with as limited of a palette as I have here, I might need to do that to change things up a bit. So with a mixture of pink and purple, let's use this angle brush again and try some more side-facing flowers with 5 petals. I'm ready to add some stems to these now, but I'm actually going to mix my green with just a tad bit of this pink color just to change it up a little bit, making it more of a dull brown green color. I'll even use that same angle brush to paint the long leaves in this time as well. I'll add some yellow centers to the flowers and then maybe even add a couple of budding flowers. That yellow color is getting a little bit lost here, so let's add in some brown at the base of the yellow to set it off just a little bit more. All right, let's try another quick, easy, and fun way to paint some flowers. I think I actually showed this in a Christmas card tutorial just a few months ago, so you may be aware of this technique already. I'm going to mix some purple and blue together for these ones this time. Then I'll use some of that color and paint 5 dots in a circle on my page. I'll rinse and dry my brush off a little bit so that it's clean but still damp, then use the damp brush to spread the dot of color into the shape of a little petal. This is a fun and quick method to paint a little flower, and the reason I like it is because a lot of times the petal will stay a little darker at the center of the flower and then become lighter at the ends where it's been spread out, causing a really neat transparent gradient of color. You can even just paint 3 or 4 dots of color in a semi or half circle and make a side-facing flower as well. Really pretty little flowers. You can just paint these flowers in the center of the page and leave it as a cute little bundle of flowers, or you can go ahead and add in some stems and leaves. Either way works great. The choice is up to you. I will go ahead and paint some darker centers though, using some brown or black, or even a combination of both. I'll just paint a couple more of these pages and we can call it good for the day. Now I haven't painted anything orange yet, so let's try some loose poppies, but I'll have to mix an orange color using my pink and some of the yellows together. Then after I've got my color ready, I'll go ahead and paint some loose side-facing poppies. They'll face in different directions and angles, and I'll probably have some buds in here as well. Then of course we'll paint in the green stems and leaves to finish this off. I feel like I didn't center this composition very well on the page, but you know what, that's okay. We're just playing around and having some fun. I can always try this again later if I want to. For our last little mini painting of the day, let's try some purple, sort of lavender looking stalks of flowers. You could probably paint the stalk of this first and then add in the purple, but I'm actually going to do the purple first and then fill in the empty spaces with the green stalk instead, moving my way downward. I'll point out I've also started painting these with a darker value of purple first, but I will add some lighter, more watered down purple ones in here as well. Now I'll add in bits of green to fill in the gaps and then finish the stalks at the bottom of the page, also adding in some more grass and long thin leaves. Well, that's it for today. This was definitely different, fun, and relaxing. I hope you enjoyed watching or even painting along with me. If you did enjoy this mini flower painting tutorial, please consider subscribing to my channel so I can continue to help you discover your artistic side.